Donna Galanti. How are you today?
I'm great, Rob. So great. Thanks for having me here. It's really wonderful to be here as I've been on your blog before.
I am thrilled to talk with you. It's a nice thing about meeting people you've known online for years in person. Like, oh,
That's right.
this is a whole new experience. I'm used to seeing you through tweets and through emails.
That's right. Like a little robot head.
So, for people that haven't been corresponding with you online all these years, I never summarize other people's biographies or other people's books because I want everyone that comes on the show to still be my friend after the show. So, if you would give the esteemed audience kind of an overview of your background, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, sure. Just my writing background.
You could start as early as chapter 1, I Am Born, if you want. It's up to you.
Well, I always knew I wanted to be a writer since I was 7 years old, and I fell in love with The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. My hero was Aslan the lion. I even had a little lion ring that I used to wear as my tribute to him. And so from that, I really fell in love with fantasy, started writing fantasy stories. My mom saved them all. I still have them, which is awesome. My first story was like with a dodo and a wizard and a flying ship. So I'm still writing fantasy stories today. But I kind of didn't start writing novels until I was really 40. I wrote marketing communications. I was in the corporate world. I was a journalist. I was a photographer in the Navy, stationed in Pearl Harbor. I kind of did all these stints. And then it was actually when my mom passed away, it was like 12 years ago. She was my biggest champion for my writing. And I said, wow, I really need to do this. Like she left this little gift to me, in her passing away. And that's when I wrote my first book. So
always yearning to be a writer during that time. It just didn't have the time for it.
Yeah, I mean, I was writing short stories and I had been a journalist and newsletters and marketing and all this, but my real dream was to share, those fiction stories inside me. And funny enough, my first book, I actually started writing thrillers for adults, which are kind of dark and a little bit twisted. But in those, my editor said, I have a character who's like a young character who grows up. And she said, you have a really wonderful young voice. You should explore that. So I said, okay. So I went off and I took a course in how to write a children's book in 7 months. And that became my first children's book, Joshua and the Lightning Road, which my son Joshua inspired.
Were you able to hit the 7-month goal per the classes? And
yes. I get very committed and I get very, obsessed with meeting deadlines. So I did. Of course, it needed a lot of revision. So that came in over the next couple of years when I was trying to find my first agent and then a publisher. So, yeah.
Okay, so 7 months, what does that look like when you get serious and say, okay, I've waited till age 40, now it's happening for sure. What does that 7-month period look like?
Well, I was in class, I was taking class, and I was meeting other writers for the first time. I'd really just thrown myself into the world of writing. Before that, I wrote my first book. I didn't know any writers. I'd never been to a conference, never been on social media. So I just hit the road running with all of these things, blogging and a website and, meeting other writing peers and industry professionals. And that's really what helped me. I mean, building that network with editors and agents and authors. Like, I don't think I would be where I am today without all these, wonderful people who've helped me along the way.
Got you. And I've got all kinds of questions about your marketing skills and your networking skills because I see you all over the place. Sometimes when I've had a month where I just haven't done much, and then I'll see you online, and I know you're with Project Middle Grade Mayhem. You're with From the Fixed Up Files. You're a judge for the New York City Midnight Course. Donna doesn't sleep. She does it all. How can I catch up? I'm assuming that didn't start in that initial 7 months.
Oh, no. Yes.
Focus on writing. So when do you start networking? How far in the process are you?
As far as writing, like for advice for writers?
Yeah, as far as you get to 40, you say, okay, this is the moment. I've been doing all this other really interesting stuff. Now it's writing time. And 7 months, I'm committed to the writing. When does it go from, okay, I finished a book to I'm an author. It's time for me to build my author network.
Yeah, it's kind of tough because it kind of all happens at once. I mean, I get an idea and I get, like I said, a little obsessed with it. And so I jumped into social media and blogging. I was big into that and my website. And then as I started to have books out, that kind of calmed down because I might have to go through this process to get there, but I got to the point where it's like, do I want to just be putting messages out there, or do I want to be writing books? What do I want to be? What is my legacy going to be? So I had to kind of calm that down, the social media and the marketing, and really focus more on writing and try and schedule social media. Like, twice a day, I'm going to go on for so much time and do it. And that takes a lot of discipline to do that, to get the writing done first. But I always tell writers that you absolutely can build your platform before your book comes out. You can blog, you can connect with your peers that way. You can connect with other authors that are similar to you, what you're writing in your genre for your audience, and start making those connections. And also really connect with book bloggers. That can be huge, because these are the people who are going to read your book, review your book, promote your book. So if you start following them now before you have a book out, in with books that are connected to yours, and commenting on their blogs and sharing, tweeting, whatever, they're going to get to know you. So when your book comes out, they're absolutely going to want to promote you, review your book, have a guest blog, whatever it may be, and they're your friend for life. I've had book bloggers come with me from my thrillers for adults right through to my children's book. They want to read anything I write. So those are the kind of people that you want to connect with, but especially banding with other writers. And I tell people who are having their first book come out, band with those other debut authors. My critique partner, Erica George, has done that. Her debut novel comes out this year. They're called The 20 Wonders, like 21 ers. And she's amazing. Check her out, Erica George. She writes young adult. She's a fantastic writer. And so she's banded with all these debut authors. There's dozens of them, and they're all cross-promoting each other. So it's like you've got this big pool of people helping you elevate you, right, with your book coming out. So the other thing that's really, really key, and I think this helped me get my start too, was joining writer organizations and volunteering. That was really key. Now, my first book came out, A Human Element, 9 years ago, and I was a debut author with International Thriller Writers Association. So I got to go to their big conference in New York, present my book, meet all these big authors like Lee Child, Lisa Gardner, R.L. Stein, and I had all the support of this organization. And I started volunteering and doing social media for them and their blog, met all these other wonderful authors, networked, was able to get blurbs because of them. Then I started writing interviews for their magazine, The Big Thrill, and met more authors that way. So I think a real key ingredient is to join an organization that you connect with and volunteer your time. Huge, yeah.